Hello, and welcome to Survivor Debrief. My name's Eden Porter, the unlucky loser from Survivor Titans vs Rebels. With me, as always, is my comedic partner and real-life brother, Joshua Porter. Josh, how are you going?
I'm great. What a crazy episode.
Oh my God.
If this is anything to go by, this season is going to be incredible. And also, just in honour of the Golden God, I've let the hair out tonight. So.
Oh, the hair is out. Round of applause for the hair being out. I thought episode 1 was good, and it's just, oh my God.
Just as a general thing, it's crazy to see, like, no one give up and everyone keep trying all the time and everyone being willing to entertain everything.
It is so awesome to see really, really competent players go, okay, this is what I need to do, and do the things that they need to do. And look, yeah, sure, Janine's there as well. But everyone know they have self-awareness enough to know what they're doing. And it's just brilliant. Like, it's absolutely brilliant. And this is only the second episode in, and there's already been 2 amazing episodes. I think it's just going to get better. And the thing that I think this all comes down to, which is you can't always have, it's the crazy mix of pre-existing relationships that is just blowing this game outside like everything. And when we get to the scramble a bit later on, that's the biggest thing for me. I'm just well, this person doesn't want to vote for this, and Sarah doesn't actually want to because she's really good mates with David, and Kirby doesn't know that because Kirby doesn't know sort of in a relationship, so she doesn't know that Sarah got David to audition for the show, all this sort of stuff. So it's wild. Just to go back to the start, let's go back to the start for a second. Yes. They've got the intros, Chef's Kiss. This is the most iconic intro package I think I can ever remember. But the the intro package.
Of what? What things are you talking about?
Everyone's intro. At the start. The intro. Everyone's intro. All these great characters, I mean. It's just everyone popping up. And then George gets hit in the head with the flag.
Oh, yeah.
What are they? They're killing George, mate. They're killing George.
I was like, oh, that's brutal. That is brutal.
But on the flip side of that, I actually think this is playing into what George feels like is his only strategy out there, is to play the fool and to play I can't run around and be the strategic golden God, if you will.
You're falling into
Golden boy. He can't do that, so he's just got to be like, I'm a bit like funny and look at my dad bod and all that sort of stuff to just try and bring his threat level down enough. But that's very interesting. Getting at the start of the episode, the very top, we'll just go, let's just talk about some of the Aussie tribe stuff and then we'll talk about some of the world. I'm just going a million miles an hour because I'm so excited.
No, it's fine. I'm actually excited. We want to get to the juice at the end.
So we want to get to the juice. But idol hunting at the start,
yes, a lot of that.
You got some of the best idol hunters in the game. George has got idols. David's got idols. Luke's got idols before. So Luke finds this idol.
Yeah.
Perfect thing to do. Don't tell anyone. Keep it in your back pocket. For a 14-player game, they're already down to 13. This is going to be absolutely amazing for him.
Do you reckon? Yeah, I think initially it makes sense because it seems like it's so high pressure right now that there will come a time when I think that's a valuable relationship builder. But yeah, I agree. I don't think rushing off now when it feels so open already. And I don't, with all the quality of the players and how open it is and how many people there are, like, I think you're right. Like, to keep it to yourself is a good idea.
So Luke does 2 things that I want to highlight here. One, he does the steal the bananas and then tell Shonny about it. So this actually shades back to his original season with Jericho finding the cookies and using the cookie sharing as a way to build trust with someone. Like, it's not out of the wheelhouse that he tells Shonny that to be like, I'm trying to build some sort of relationship with you.
In isolation without knowing that, it's a very funny thing to say. This harkens back to when he shared cookies with Jericho.
Yeah. Well, right. Jericho shared the cookies, but point still stands. The other thing that Luke does, he does the truth joke lie where someone goes, you find anything? Yeah, man. I got a clue, man. I got a clue. And they're like, really? Nah, man, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
And he did have the idol. So it's a really nice way to diffuse lies. And it's your default to go, you know what, I'm going to sort of tell a version of the truth and then pretend I'm joking. Because it's not like going, hey, do you have an idol, Josh? Nah, man, I haven't found anything. I don't know what you're talking about. To the other end of that is, I wish I could get one, man. Dude, I need one so bad. And you go too far. So doing that, I think that's actually a conscious decision to go and be that jokey, like, man, and tell the truth. I think that's really interesting. I just wanted to bring that up. The other thing from the Aussie side, David thinks he can manipulate Kirby, which is famous last words in this episode, which I think is very good foreshadowing.
Yeah.
But he obviously doesn't really know how Kirby plays the game. Kirby wants to play with some strong women. She's playing I don't really know anyone. I'm sort of playing dumb, which is perfect at this point because there's so many egos there. This is perfect for Kirby.
I feel David clocked it eventually.
Eventually he did.
But I guess it's just feeling it out and figuring it out. And that's what's so interesting about the scramble in this episode.
And then by the end, he's like, oh no, Kirby's playing a really good game. Kirby's playing a really good game, which I think is really good.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Kirby's straight up from this episode is got David in her headlights. Everyone is umming and ahhing around. George seems genuinely scared to vote David initially because it sounded like that he really wanted to go all in with Luke and David. Yeah. And Kirby doesn't matter. Kirby's like, I don't care. Let's take him out. Let's take him out.
Yeah. I've got some questions for you a bit later.
Yeah. And then she gets her hooks in Sarah, and I think Sarah is along for the ride with Kirby.
Well, it sounds like we got a lot tonight of Sarah being like, I'm going to play the loyalty game. I'm going to be loyal. That's different for me. I'm going to change gears. And that's been consistently reinforced. So I think they'll be together for a long time. It'll be interesting to see how it does play out.
Yeah. So now just to jump to the world tribe, just for a fraction of a second, because that's all we saw of them tonight. Pav is worried about like the Dave thing. That now is totally gone.
Yeah, it seemed like no one cared.
Because David's gone. So it doesn't matter in the game anymore.
Sure, of course.
So David's now gone. So that's why they're not spending that much time on it.
That's true. Yeah.
So now it's not like they've got a secret alliance and all this sort of stuff. It's just
which actually probably worked out pretty well for her then. Right?
It's really I think ultimately if he was still in the game, I think Suri doesn't love the fact that she didn't tell her that. I think.
Yeah.
But still, ultimately, it's not going to get people go, oh, these guys are going to turn on us. So that's okay.
And then we got a good dose of Tony, which I was very happy with. Yeah. Really good as well to see Tony very early clocking the Women's Alliance and being like, Parvati didn't really come to me at all yet.
Yeah.
I don't feel safe and secure here. And they're off in the water. And again, it's the Women's Alliance. And the thing I find so funny about every single Women's Alliance is always like, I would love that. Oh, I would love that so much.
I'm like, well, why do you never do it then? Why does it always fall apart? There's two all-women alliances that have worked in the entire history of the show, the Black Widows and Kim's in one world. No one else can hold it together.
Well, got good pedigree in there. This could be the episode.
I still do think that the girls are going to run this whole game. I like ultimately both sides. I think the girls are going to run it. But what's interesting about Tony is he's playing I'm just going to come out there and just do my thing and not be sort of super crazy Tony, which is great, but we want to see super crazy Tony at some point. The thing that Tony's going to 100% need is something in his bag of tricks. He's going to need an idol. He's going to need something.
I think so.
Because his days are numbered otherwise. I really think so.
Yeah.
The only other thing is Rob getting voted out. I think that sort of also helps set the stage for David to go. Because it sets that precedent of like, get rid of your strong guy. It's okay.
Strong. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine. We're doing all these challenges. It's going to be fine. I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah.
Now let's just get to the challenge. We'll just quickly go through the challenge, I guess.
It's the battering ram one. I love this. This is so cool.
Really?
With like the concreted up wall.
We are good at coming up with new challenges because the lock key thing, like the different aspects of it, and I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
It was interesting though, one thing, seeing Tony, and I think this shows the age of some of these contestants compared for them when they first went out. Tony was gassed. Like
Tony was gassed.
And I think there's a big difference between 10, 15 years ago for some of these players. Like, your body changes a bit.
The other thing is, I remember that Tony actually wasn't that great at challenges, if you remember.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, so Tony didn't actually win. Like, his way to the end was not winning a bunch of challenges and stuff like that. And his arm wasn't as strong. Some of his throws were going left, right, and centre.
Very off.
But he came to it. He came to the end, and I think it was a really fun challenge. But Josh...
Sorry, go.
You go.
I was going to say, I really liked as well, like Tony, like again, we saw that real clear leading mentality from Tony. Hey guys, doing this, like the whole way was dictating to the team what to do. And as well, just the other tiny thing, what was it? Where was it? Again, George.
I had the note. So I had the note here, Josh. I said, now that you've told me about it, I heard both of them. George's mic is way turned up. Right? He goes, guys, too quick. And the other one that came out was when they lost. He goes, they got it.
The one I found what it was. It was when it was Tony and David throwing together, like, up against the best ever winner. It's really
so funny.
strange.
But why is his mic so turned up?
They're just picking. I think he's got a conscious decision to be like, I'm just going to commentate because it'll
Maybe.
go on air, and I know that they want someone to do that. It's very funny.
And it's just it really cuts through now. You've said it. I'm loving it.
keeping your eye out for it.
I'm absolutely loving it.
It's very funny.
Yeah, these challenges are all super close. There's no super blowouts. Like
which is
everyone's
great.
at to the last section, which is really good. So let's keep these really fun challenges going.
Yeah.
But
So
now
the world wins.
The world wins at last. And now we're into the scramble. Can I just say, this scramble seemed super long.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, I know editing. So in my season, you have about an hour or so after you lose your challenge to Tribal Council. And so it's really, it's go. This seemed like there were so many conversations. There were so many people around. Was it still that hour? I don't know. It would have been the craziest hour ever if it was.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because, and I don't want to just verbatim go through it because there were so many twists and turns.
Oh, man.
But it just seemed like every time there was a bit of a plan and some different people speaking, someone went, okay, I need to fix this because that doesn't work for me. I'm going to go over here. Okay. And then the person they talked to, like, okay, that's not going to work for me. I'm going to fix this. And they just sort of, everyone was really working really hard and it was so great to see. The one thing I found fascinating broadly is that given her pivotal position in all of this, Kirby's name never came up.
Yeah.
And I think
Super
that
interesting.
is testament to everyone being like, oh, I would like to work with Kirby. I think I can use her.
Yeah. I think, honestly, her lack of connection with people has been her biggest connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everyone has gone, she's a free agent.
Yeah.
Shawnee, you saw Shawnee do it. You saw David do it. You saw Sarah do it. Everyone's gone, she's a single person. And as a result, she's got everyone coming to it, which she was just... Look, David hated the fact that she was just chilling in the water.
Yeah,
and he had to go, that was so good. I thought that was amazing. But again, Josh, it comes down to these pre-existing relationships. Sarah doesn't want to vote David off. Kirby says David. She's like, I don't want to turn on Kirby now that I've made that promise.
Yeah.
George wants to be with the other guys. David and Luke have played together. They want to keep together. David and Janine have played together, so he doesn't want to let her go under the boss. Shawnee and George seem together in this episode, which is weird.
Of convenience, I guess.
Maybe. So everyone, and not only that, everyone is telling these plans to each other.
The most incredible moment was the George and Kirby conversation.
Oh, dude, I've got that
and
on my
then
note.
David walks in and he's like, well, who's throwing my name around? He's like, she's standing right here. It's Kirby. So cool.
You could see the
George
cogs turning in his head going,
Yep.
what is my out here? What is my out here? And I think he came to the point of going, you know what? I actually would rather work with David, so I'm going to throw this out here. And I think this one conversation could have totally burnt George's game. I think Kirby was out on George after this point. And the fact that he didn't go home now doesn't mean that he's not in a lot of trouble.
I feel what was interesting is it feels so clearly that George really, really did want to keep David in as a shield and have him hang around. David didn't want a bar of it, but George seems so desperate, like, no, I have to keep David in and I will try and show him that I want to be with him.
So the fact that George just basically laid everything out was just like, this is exactly what's happening. Now, David's ego is so huge and he's so blinded by the character of George, I think, not being able to believe that George would be coming to the table with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I think what David failed to do was to think of things, put your brain into George and know what's George's motivations here, what's George's path forward. You've got to think that George left over with the girls, like if David's got to think that him and Luke are in the same boat. If George is left with the girls, George then becomes
an easy pick-off
for them. Whereas George with the boys, then he becomes the person that they go to turn on the boys. So then that gives him a little bit more power. So then eventually when he needs to kill the boys, he will be the person that can pull people in, or people can come to him and say, George, you got to turn on these guys. They're gonna get rid of you. So thinking it through that way, David should have gone, you know what? George is probably going to want to come with us. But he couldn't get past the George lies to everyone. George isn't
really
trustworthy. It's really scary.
One question I have for you, because I did love the idea Kirby doesn't have that history with everyone. She is not afraid of David, but everyone has this thing of, it's like something out of Game of Thrones, like his spies are everywhere. Like you can't speak his name out aloud because David will end up finding out and you'll be cut off.
The enemy has many spies, birds, beasts.
So my question for you, Eden, as a player, how do you breed that fear in people that if you put my name out there, you will go? Because we've seen it in the past where it's somehow
Boston Rob do it.
Yeah.
Russell did it. Like, these people have this ability to go, you know what? If you go against me, you are the next target. Yeah. And how do you instill that in people? I think you make everyone feel like you're their number one. Mm-hmm. Like they're your number one. Mm-hmm. So as a result, it's within their best interest to tell you what's going on. But when your name comes up, they're going to go like, I just heard your name.
But even beyond that, it's the fact that like in a group, no one wants to say his name. You know what I mean? Like, because they're like, I don't know everyone else's relationship. I feel like there's someone here, maybe it speaks to that. There's someone here I feel like is close to David, that if we splurt it out, it's going to get back to him straight away. It's just so interesting to come into a game and like day 2 and everyone's like, don't say his name.
Well, it's funny as well because Sarah, obviously Kirby doesn't know Sarah's relationship with David.
No.
Because she put that out there and instantly Sarah was like, oh, I don't know about this. Then I had to laugh. At this. I love Sarah. But Sarah's talking about being loyal and being honourable to Kirby and voting with him. And then she goes to Janine and says, this is exactly the plan. Please tell David.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I can't be seen to do this.
You can't sort of have your cake and eat it too because Janine, then that's out that you've done that.
Yeah.
Like you've blown up their plan. And if that comes out, if Janine turns around at some point and says, oh, by the way, Kirby, Sarah told us everything.
You forget what Sarah's going to say, though. She's going to go, well, Kirby, I actually didn't say anything to David.
Yeah.
And she'll go, oh, that makes it okay. It's, oh, well, I didn't write your name on the parchment. Like, oh, who cares?
And maybe it is a thing of, as long as I vote how I said I'm going to vote, then everything else can be deemed a lie or inadmissible in a court of law.
I think so. And we've talked about that before. Like, that is the real test of trust, where your vote goes. That's how you demonstrate that.
Now, I'd like to, just before we get there, is Sarah Kirby's new Riri?
I think Sarah is positioning herself to be that.
Yes.
Whether Kirby wants that, I don't know. I feel like Kirby's really open to everyone. So I don't think Kirby will lock in with anyone because I think she maybe might try and play a bit differently to last time, just to be like, oh, what else can I do in this game? You know?
Yeah, I think Kirby. This was a great Kirby episode, by the way.
Yeah,
this was an amazing Kirby episode. But I think at the end of the day, her having that secret relationship with Shani, getting Sarah locked in on the lowdown, it's going to be in a really good position. And now George as well. George voted against them.
Yeah, I know.
Like George, no, she didn't vote. He didn't vote against them, but he didn't vote with them. And
he voted against them because he knew the plan.
No, but he voted Janine.
Yeah, but I'm saying he knew the plan, so he voted against them because he didn't go with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm. That's what I mean. But Janine wasn't in their group. I'm just saying.
Oh, correct. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So he could sort of get out that way, but ultimately they said, "Are you with us?" And he's proven that he hasn't. So I think that's burnt a lot of bridges. George throwing Kirby's name under the bus was so epic. Though.
I love that.
That was so good.
And as you said, it's that moment of you're live, you're there. What do I say? She's right here. He's right here. And you could tell he really wanted to work with David. One thing I did want to tell you about talking about Sarah. Another question for Eden. There was that moment when David was sitting with her on the beach, and he said, "How do you like to play?"
Yeah.
And I'm curious, how much thinking do you do on that question? When someone asks you that, how do you like to play? What are you thinking of? How much do I give away? How much do I not? Like, what kind of things would you give up in that?
You think about, you should know with previous players how they play, and you should be able to parrot back their understanding of the game back to them to make them feel like you and them understand the game in the same way.
How you think they play? Or?
Yeah. And look, and you've got to be able. They've got to feel comfortable with your game style to work with you.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if you're talking to a George, you know he's not going to be loyalty like like mateship and all that stuff. So you can go, don't worry about that. But strategically, if we're aligned with someone strategically, we can vote that round. George is going to love stuff like that because he can then come up with a plan and say this would benefit both of us. Yeah. So it is. I think it's mirroring. It's, you know, when they talk about in business, mirroring people's postures and stuff like that. I think it is a bit of that. I think it honestly is a bit of that. Kirby is Queen Bee at the moment. And I think I'm worried. It's so obvious that she's Queen Bee. I'm actually worried for her in like a bit later on. Like, I think this will serve her well for a while, but I think later on in the season, her target is going to get bigger and bigger. David's already clocked at the end of the episode, like, Kirby's playing a really good game.
Yeah.
That's out there now.
Well, I think he latched onto the charm offensive, like that element of her. And I think what's interesting is, as you speak, as the season goes on, I think right now they go, oh, here's this inexperienced person who's only played it once, hasn't watched it. And then I think they'll start to go like, well, why was she asked back? Why is she here? Why is she in this cast? Okay, now I'm putting together these pieces.
And they've all seen Titans versus Rebels. They would have definitely seen it because it's the best season of all time. So, and they would have been like, where's that Eden? Whatever happened to that Eden guy?
Where was that lucky loser?
Yeah. He's in his basement out the back. But yeah, ultimately they understand her, but they don't know her. I think that's the thing. Whereas all these other people have physical relationships with each other, except for her. So yeah, it's good. And there was and then when Kirby found out, like obviously found out, George said it to her face, you could see she was thinking, okay, maybe George now.
Well, what was interesting in that moment as a different thing of players, it didn't seem like in that instant she had anything. She was like, oh my God, I never thought that someone would say that in front of the person. Yeah. And she really didn't offer anything. And I found that interesting.
Kirby in that moment.
Yeah. Kirby
didn't know what should I say respond.
Here? No.
She didn't know whether she should defend herself, and she just stayed silent, and it's wild.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so
wild.
Rare to see that. And then David's like, all right, I'm out of here. See ya.
It's so funny. And so now, like, there was so many switches. So you're right. Kirby's name never came up.
Which I found crazy because often it's like, hang on, Kirby's in the middle. She's talking to you guys. She's trying to do this. She's over here. Yeah. Why don't we just get Kirby? Like, I feel like that happens so often, but it really didn't. I guess it's that charm offensive she's put on of like, everyone is like, oh, I really like Kirby.
Well, the thing is, you know what's crazy in this whole thing? That 4 people couldn't just get together and vote together. Yeah. That they couldn't trust each other enough to just go, yeah, David, Luke, and Janine. It's like, George, are you actually with us? And actually believe him and go, okay, we've got 4. We can just choose who to go home now.
Yeah.
And they couldn't believe each other. It's crazy.
I think what's interesting, it's like they almost overthought George's position.
Yeah.
Like George was clearly in self-preservation mode.
Yes.
Which you go, oh, well, he's going to say yes to everything. But I think there was just this missing link of, because George got fed the name of Janine, switched to Janine. And it's like, ironically, David, if you trusted George, you would still be there. Like, you could have done the Shawnee, as you said. You know, like...
Yeah, they told him a name and he did the name.
Yeah, and so he's totally with you.
And they just didn't... Yeah, I think at the end of the day, David also felt like, I don't want to give George, like, credit for being a really good player. I think that whole way, you just felt that he was... The way that he was like, George thinks he's kin, he hasn't won, I've won, sort of thing. Yeah. And he wanted to sort of keep George...
I don't need you as a shield buddy. Like, come on. You know,
but ultimately, George would have been... George made the exact right call. He would have been better off with David and Luke and Janine, I think
so. That's what it feels like, yeah.
Yeah. So he made the right call in that sense.
Should we... We're kind of already in it a bit. Should we jump to Tribal?
Yeah, let's jump to Tribal. But now, the thing that I want to bring up here, Josh, Tribal Council... I can never remember a time that they've ever done this. Turn those audio levels down. Let's focus on the whispers. Yeah. They literally took George out at one point completely. They took Luke out at one point completely, and they turned up the whisper, and it was awesome. I loved it.
Then we had a bit of tinnitus from David as well.
Yeah.
What's that? George is talking?
And it was just him, David, and Kirby, like, what's going to happen? Yeah. This was fun editing and a fun way to put this ramp up the tension at Tribal Council.
It was what I found really interesting. It's like there was these clear 2 triples, and then George was kind of in the middle. And then it was interesting, this tension with Sarah as well, like getting pulled one way or the other. But it was kind of, I wonder how much those audibles, because we had Kirby pulled the audible to switch to David, which... so they were going to be on George, I guess.
Now, it looked like before Tribal, Kirby was like, okay, we can do George. And Sarah loved it. Sarah went and told the other guys, it's all George, this is happening. And then as soon as we got into a live Tribal, Kirby was like, it's David.
Because I noticed Kirby rolled over pretty quickly on Sarah's pitch in the water. She rolled over pretty quickly, like, okay, we won't do David, we'll do George. So maybe she was like, slow playing it anyway. She's like, I'll tell Sarah yes now, so then she can't keep working on it. And then in the fire of tribal, we're just going to jump in and switch it to David.
I would love to know, and we'll talk to Kirby at some point probably, but that idea, is that a purposeful thing that she's like, I'm going to change it at tribal council so people are going to stop running around? And it's just like, because that's actually a tactic that Tony used in Winners at War, where 10 minutes before they would have to go to tribal, he would change the plan to something else, and he would tell everyone that everyone's in on it and it's locked in. He's like, man, it's just changed. It's actually this person. And then gave no one time to actually get there. And he did that a lot in Winners at War. So it's interesting to see if that's a conscious decision now.
What did you make of the audible to put the votes on Shonny as well? David weighing, let's do Shonny. Was that ever a plan, do you think?
No. No,
we never really heard much of that, did we?
No, it was just sort of out of the blue. Like, Shonny was never the target, so it was weird that they suddenly thought that. Unless David thought the idol was out there. At what point, like, David doesn't have the idol, so they've got to think the idol's found. And that's why David initially wanted to try and split, like do a 3-2 on George and Shonny. Like, that was his original pitch.
I guess, yeah.
But that's never going to work.
I think, what do you make of when George and David were having their conversation off to the side? It seemed like David was very much running that. You kind of said you think it's the right play for George to go with David in that moment.
Yeah, I think you've got to pick up on the desperation of George.
Yeah.
But his reputation precedes him as someone that's sneaky, that is not going to, like, tell you the truth. But there's just something about the way that George was talking there of, like, he was like, dude, I said I will vote, I will do what you want me to do. Like,
and then to reconcile that, how do you place Luke's call to get George onto Janine instead of Shonny? Like, what's the value in that?
So weird.
Right?
So weird.
Because all you're doing then is you've put a vote against Janine. She might come back in the future to be like, why did my name get out there?
Yeah.
Did you say anything? And then Luke's got to be like, oh no, George just made that decision. She's like, well, no one else. Why is George making a plan out of nothing? So I found that like a weird decision from Luke to feed Janine's name in. What? Surely you feed it onto someone on the other side.
Well, it makes more sense. It makes more sense. But it's funny. So obviously George really wanted to work with Dave and Luke and voted the way he was told to vote.
Yeah.
But one thing that stood out for me in terms of everyone is trying to do something here. Everyone is trying to do something.
Yeah.
Except I don't think Janine is trying to do anything. Janine is just friends with David, and she's pretty happy to just go, whatever you want. Whatever you want.
I feel like Janine and Luke's position felt a bit muted, like we're with David kind of position.
Yeah.
Shonny felt a bit more considered, and Sarah definitely was wrestling with what to do. So it is interesting, this, because of this all-star returning stuff, it really feels quite individual in a lot of ways. Like, everyone's kind of deciding what they want to do, but then if something changes, what is best for me? How is this going to play out? You know.
Now, the other thing that hasn't come up is Luke and Kirby actually know each other outside the game.
Oh, right.
Before Kirby played.
Yeah, right.
So that hasn't come up at all. Talk about a secret relationship. That could be the thing that really throws everything out the window.
Maybe Rob will come back and drop that ball
as well. Yeah, Rob, good on you. Janine, I don't think that Janine is at the same. Some people like her, but everyone else seems to be performing at a really high level. I just don't think she's doing.
We haven't seen
her do anything.
It feels like everyone is working really hard on their individual game, and there's really not a lot of followers. So it's interesting to see a season full of that at this point as well, still at the tribal level.
And interesting to note, talking of Shonny, she hasn't really done much yet, but I think she's done the same thing. She's like, I just need to sort of lay a bit low because I don't have any connections, get through. Yeah. But she clocked that David and George were talking about her as well.
Yeah.
She's like, they have to be talking about me. That's the only other person to. And so I thought that was very intuitive of her as well. The other, just the weird thing is, the first round of votes, so we're at the votes, right? So we've got 3 on George, we've got 3 on David, and then 1 on Janine. So ironic that if George just sticks with his group, then David goes home straight up, right? And there's no threat to George. George is like, this is fine. Now, do you think in this particular vote that Sarah should have put her neck out there and in the revote flipped to save David and get rid of George?
Well, I think all she's thinking then is, well, then I'm burning Kirby. I'd rather burn Kirby than keep David.
I think you got to really quickly do the maths there and go, okay, if I do this now, I keep David, Luke, Janine on board. George is now angry at them. Yeah, see, maybe it's not good. And then you've hurt Shonny and Kirby.
It all depends where you want to go. Like, do you want to go with David or do you want to try?
No, George has gone home at this point, isn't he? So it's just Shonny, Kirby left.
It's just you've turned on the women, right? But then you're fully in bed with David and Luke. So it's just a consideration of that. You've decided this is the group I'm going to go with. That would have been nice to keep, but it's less of a preference.
I think in her particular position, if you play it out, George is gone.
Yep.
Then you vote out Shonny or Kirby next. You probably get rid of Kirby. Then you've got Shonny that you can get rid of. And then I think Sarah's got a better relationship with David than Janine does.
I guess it's thinking long term that, or maybe David's going to play me a bit more. I don't know.
And then you've got to understand there's probably a merge. There's merge coming. There's a swap coming really soon. So
maybe she thinks Kirby will last longer than David.
Yeah.
And it's like David is going to get targeted very quickly anyway. Me saving him now, maybe his first boot when we hit the merge.
Yeah.
But Kirby's, I can have a vote with her solid going a bit longer than that. Maybe that's the sort of consideration. He's got such a big target that he's not long for in the game.
Yeah. Now, all of these things this episode, all I could think about was David taking over from JLP. Every interaction that they had, like when David takes the idol, like gives the idol back to JLP, and he's like, "Oh, I'll give it back to you soon," and JLP is like, "Yeah, maybe you won't." And then I'm thinking, I'm tearing up, going like, "Oh no, this is wild." And then later on, when David finally goes, he's like, "Oh, you've retired me from Survivor," all this sort of stuff, and I'm just thinking, no. This is not. No, this is.
Well, that was a funny moment as well, because based on what you told us last episode about the him just sort of being a late call up, that he's probably like, why'd I go on this? First one out of the tribe. Is my legacy changed? I don't know.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it also is weird now that you have someone that goes out second in the season, and then they're going to be hosting.
Yeah, it's just weird. Well, this is all before that was decided, right?
Yeah, you'd hope so. Imagine if he's playing, David's looking at JLP going, "That's mine, baby," and you don't even know it yet. You don't even know it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. This episode was just awesome. But
it was
Josh,
great. Well, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. What are we doing first?
Let's do our spin and grin first, perhaps. How about that?
Spin and grin.
I think it's got to be Kirby, right?
It's got to be Curbs.
I think she's been in the mix, in the middle, dictating the play, the person who she wanted home.
Well done. Her name never came up. It never flipped onto her.
Crazy.
Like, it was looking good from day one. So I think Kirby's getting us spin and grin.
Yes.
Definitely.
And how about this one?
It was to rustle feathers, ruffle feathers.
This is tough because we went around so many circles in so many different ways. But I think the key feather rustling moment for me was George dropping that bomb in front of Kirby and David. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you, only because as well, now if you forward think this, George has now shown Shonny, Kirby and Sarah that he didn't vote with them.
Yes.
And he then showed Janine that he voted for Janine.
Yes.
And David's gone home. And Luke was the one that told him to vote for Janine.
So Luke's rock
and screwed
solid.
him. So Luke's burnt him. So,
that's true.
George is in a terrible position coming in next week.
George has got a flag square in the face in this episode.
Yeah. So I think George ruffled the most feathers. I think for that moment alone, it's good.
Good feather rustler. Crazy season so far. Very excited for how the rest of it goes. I think, there's no dead weight. It's supercharged. The speed of it is crazy. I think every day is just going crazy. It's real good.
I can't wait to see what happens next. It's gonna be great.
Reminder of the live show we got coming up next Monday,
25th. So it's going to be really good. So it's Monday coming up. It's going to be amazing because we've got some ex-players there. We're going to do a bit of Q&A.
We got Laura. We got Karen.
Yeah, we got Eileen.
We got Logan. We got Eileen.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
And I think the episode, if we think about it, I think it's going to be a good episode because this will be
if
episode.
We think about it, folks, it's going to be a good
1,
one.
2, 3, 4, 5.
It'll be 5.
Could be 5. Episode 5. So there could be a swap happening. or
keep
or
that in mind if
something.
you want to watch that with a big group of Survivor fans. But details and links all on our socials, so you can check that out.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll see you up to episode 3.
See you later.